SpaceX will launch Starship, the most powerful rocket that has ever traveled to space. SpaceX is counting down Monday for the first test flight of the Starship, the most powerful rocket ever built to send astronauts to Mars, Moon, and beyond. The giant rocket is scheduled to lift off at 9 a.m. Central Time from SpaceX Starbase in Boca Chica, Texas. Backup time is planned for later this week if Monday's launch attempt is delayed. SpaceX founder Elon Musk says it's a definite possibility. This is a very risky flight, Musk said during a Twitter Spaces live event on Sunday. This is the first launch of a very complex giant rocket. There are a million ways this rocket could fail, he added. We will be careful, and if we see anything that worries us, we will postpone it. Musk said he wanted to lower expectations because tomorrow it might not work. If by success you mean reach orbit, NASA has selected the Starship spacecraft to transport astronauts to the moon in late 2025, a mission called Artemis 3 for the first time since the end of the Apollo program in 1972. The spacecraft consisted of a 50-foot spacecraft designed to carry crew and cargo, sitting atop of 230-foot tall super heavy first stage launch vehicle. The spacecraft and super heavy rockets, collectively referred to as Starships, have never flown together, although there have been some suborbital test flights with the spacecraft itself. If all goes according to plan, the Super Heavy booster will separate from the spacecraft about 3 minutes after launch and will plunge into the Gulf of Mexico. The spacecraft, which has 6 engines of its own, will continue to fly to an altitude of nearly 150 miles, completing a near-Earth circle before splashing into the Pacific Ocean about 90 minutes after launch. If it goes into orbit, that's huge success, Musk said. If we get far enough from the launch pad before something goes wrong, then I think I will consider it a success, he said. Multiplanetary Civilization successfully conducted a test launch of 33 Raptor engines in the first thruster stage spacecraft in February. The Super Heavy booster is tethered to the ground during a test launch, referred to as a static fire, to prevent it from taking off. NASA will launch astronauts into lunar orbit in November 2024 with its own weight rocket called the Space Launch System, which has been in development for more than a decade. Starship is bigger and more powerful than SLS. It generates 70 million pounds of thrust, more than double the Saturn V rocket that sent Apollo astronauts to the moon. SpaceX plans to eventually launch a spacecraft to orbit and then refuel with another spacecraft so it can continue its journey to Mars or beyond. Musk says his goal is to make Starship reusable and lower cost by millions of dollars per flight. Thanks.